Most people try to fix their anxiety by thinking harder or journaling more or just telling themselves to calm down. But what if I told you that the fastest way to stop those racing thoughts isn't in your mind at all, but it's in your body? Now, after guiding hundreds of students out of that state of constant overthinking and panic in just a few weeks, I've seen that when you work with your nervous system instead of against it, you can shift from chaos to clarity in just minutes without needing to use that much willpower. In this video, I'm going to show you how exactly to do that by understanding what's actually happening in your nervous system whenever you feel anxious and how yoga gives you the clear map out. And if you feel like you're always stuck in that go, go, go mode and your mind is spinning and your heart is racing and you can't relax even when you're exhausted, then you're not broken, you're not alone, you're just in this rajasic, hyper-aroused state, and I've been there too. For many, many years, I tried to think my way out of this state. I was reading all the books, I was repeating all the affirmations, I was trying to just be positive and not think negatively, but my body was kind of still in this state of survival mode and nothing really shifted until I started working with my physiology. I'm Sushmita, but you can call me Sushi, and I help busy minds quiet their racing thoughts and reclaim their inner focus with the power of Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga. And if you're craving just a deeper, more contained, structured support with this problem, then there is a link in the description below for my Yoga Mastery program. I use all the steps inside my program to help my students move from that state of constant activation to a state of just feeling grounded and at ease with themselves. But don't worry about that, because for now, just stick with me because we're going to look at your anxiety through the lens of yoga. So today, I'm going to be breaking down the three concepts of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas and how they map perfectly to the Western concept of this window of tolerance. And so by understanding these three gunas, you can finally stop fighting with your biology and start using the right tools for the state that you find yourself in when you show up to the mat. So let's dive right in. Before we talk about the extremes, we need to understand the goal. And in yoga, it's to experience this state of sattva, this state of ease, the state of calm. And let's be real, being in a sattvic state doesn't mean that you're never stressed. It just means that your window of tolerance or the things that you can take is just wider and wider as you begin this practice. Because life is stressful. Life is going to throw challenges at you. But when you're inside this window, you can handle it. You can see it as useful stress. You feel grounded, you feel capable, and more importantly, you're present with whatever is coming up for you. So think of it like a muscle. Stress is necessary for growth. Any kind of growth requires stress. So we need that stress to evolve, but it needs to be the right amount of stress, the right kind of stress, so that it doesn't push us outside this window of tolerance. And so when you're sattvic, you aren't reacting blindly. You have space between the trigger and the response. I'm sure you've heard of this a million times, but you have to stay regulated if you want to embody the sattvic state. But look, sometimes life happens. Maybe a deadline hits, or you hear something bad on the news, or you just wake up on the wrong side of the bed and you get pushed outside of this window of tolerance. And usually you go into one of two extremes. So the first extreme is what we call rajas. In Western psychology, this is hyperarousal or this fight or flight response. You know you're in rajas when you physically cannot calm down. Your thoughts are racing like a mile a minute. You're constantly negatively cognizing, looking for things that are going wrong. Your body is scanning for danger and you're just not able to settle in and calm down. You might feel like your heart is beating faster. You're doing a million things all fragmented, trying to get all of them done. And here's where most people mess up. You tell yourself, okay, I just need to calm down. I just need to breathe a little bit. Why are you worrying so much? There's not that much to do. And so you try and think your way out of this state. You try and speak to yourself inside of your head. And yes, it's an absolutely crucial element of it, but you cannot just fix it from the thinking mind because your body is in a survival state. It perceives a threat. And look, you cannot reason with a body that thinks it's being chased by a tiger. And so when you constantly feel this way, it starts to manifest physiologically. Maybe your stomach gets upset, or you're running to the restroom constantly. Maybe you begin to wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning every single day and like check the rooms and see if someone's out there. And so this is a state of just rajas. What's the solution? What do we do about this? If you're in rajas, you don't need to push through, you don't need to do more. You need to soothe. You need to ground yourself back into the present moment, because rajas is all about the future. It's all about worrying what might happen and scanning for danger and doing things frantically to escape that feeling that's underneath it. And so to fix this, we first need to simply stabilize the machine. You need to lie down, you need to do Shavasana, you need to listen to a single, slow, long chant that just displaces all of those overthinking thoughts. You need to practice slow, rhythmic breathing where your exhale is often longer than your inhale. And in your physical asana practice, you need to avoid things that increase heat. You need to avoid those fast vinyasa flows that leave you, in a state of more rajas. Instead, you need to focus on your seated sequence. You need to spend longer in your closing sequence. And so the idea here is to signal to your nervous system that you're here, that you're safe, that you don't need to rush into the future. Now let's talk about the other side, which is usually sneakier and harder to identify. This is tamas. So in psychology, this is the hypo-aroused state or the freeze response. So when rajas is too much feeling, tamas on the other side is too little feeling. You feel numb, you feel heavy, you feel like even though you have things to do and you have things to do, you just can't physically get up and do them. You end up scrolling on your phone for hours, not because you're learning new things or doing more things, but because you're literally dissociating from the feeling that you're unable to feel. And so when you're in this state, you might be moving through your day and it feels like your brain and body just aren't in the same page, and you can't access your sensations. Your numbness often manifests in your body as like, I feel so tired. Maybe you're overeating, you're procrastinating, you're canceling social plans, or you're just checking out completely and like isolating yourself. I know this sounds crazy, but if you recognize these patterns of behavior in yourself, it isn't laziness or procrastination necessarily. It's just that your body is in this biological freeze response, and your nervous system has accumulated so much stress that it's decided that the safest thing to do right now is to shut down and not do anything at all. And here's the critical mistake that people make when it comes to tamas. So they think that they need to relax because they can't do anything. They think, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, I'm so exhausted, I should just sleep more, I should just rest more. Actually, you don't need relaxation. You don't need to be sitting and doing nothing and scrolling. When you're that low in energy, you need a little bit of gentle activation. You need to wake up the body. You need movement. You need to be able to do sun salutations that'll get the breath moving in the body. You need faster breathing, something like Kapalabhati, which is known as the skull shining breath. And you need to prove to your body that it's safe enough to move, to take up space, to stop staying in that freeze response of just looking at your phone and scrolling constantly. And so when you're in tamas, the goal isn't to calm down, it's to break up that stagnation. And it feels uncomfortable at first. It feels like the hardest thing you'll do. But when you move, you'll move out of that heaviness, that stuckness. And I promise you, the discomfort that you feel initially, that resistance that comes up, you have to overcome it, because that's where the shift happens. You have to manually jumpstart the system. The goal of all of this, whether you're soothing the rajas or you're just kind of activating the tamas out of your system, is to get back into the sattvic state, the state where that window of tolerance just keeps getting wider and wider, and normal activities, day-to-day activities, don't stress you out or leave you feeling irritable and just on edge all the time. So right now, maybe a small email from your boss sends you into this whole panic spiral, or maybe seeing your friends doing something fun on social media without inviting you just sends you into this state of extreme tamas where you're just withdrawing and not replying to anyone at all. But as you practice yoga, as you begin regulating, you use movement to either soothe or to activate, you expand your capacity to hold these sensations. And this is called neuroplasticity. You begin to handle more and more stress without leaving your center. So you stay forward faced, you start looking at the future, you look for solutions instead of getting lost in the problem. But you are the driver. You begin to experience your experience rather than just being like a passenger reacting to whatever bumps come on the road. And so my challenge to you is simple. It's just this. Stop trying to solve all of your life problems with your mind alone and being in one of these states of either rajas or tamas, because you need to get back into that sattvic state. And your body keeps the score. And until you address this on a physiological level, the mind will just keep on spinning in circles trying to look for solutions from the thinking mind. So tomorrow morning, just check in with yourself. Don't judge it. Don't do anything. Just notice when you come onto the mat, are you spinning in rajas as you show up on the mat? Or are you just kind of like, so low on energy, so tired? Depending on where you are, do what you need to do. Either activate or soothe and do a few more breathing practices before you begin your normal asana practice. So stabilize the machine first, and then go handle your day. So that's all I have for you today. By the way, if you struggle to do all of this on your own, it's not your fault. All of these YouTube videos are amazing, but it doesn't actually teach you the exact step-by-step approach that you need. And there is a link in the description below to join my Yoga Mastery program. You can book a call with me and we'll chat about your goals and I'll see if you're a good fit for the program. But either way, if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, do all of the good things because it tells the algorithm to keep sending you more of my videos when I make them. But either way, thank you so much for watching till the very end. I hope you enjoyed this video and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.